You felt it, haven't you? That deep knowing inside, that quiet voice telling you that you're different. The world keeps moving, as it always does. People rise and fall with time, but your spirit doesn't fit. You've always known you don't belong fully to this world. You watch, you understand, but you never quite blend in. And that's because you were never meant to. You're not just flesh and bones, not just a product of human ancestry. Your origin is something greater, something older, something far more mysterious than you've ever dared to imagine. You were chosen before the world was even made. You weren't born, you were sent. You were placed here, not just conceived. You are an idea in the mind of God, wearing human form for a little while. But you were never meant to be confined by it. The world will try to tell you differently. It will try to shape you into its own image, convince you that you're no different from those who live only by what they see, those who hunger for things that will fade, those who build their lives on shifting ground. But you can't be fooled. There's something inside you that can't be corrupted, something that can't be dimmed no matter how heavy life gets. It's the eternal spark, the divine mark, the breath of God flowing through you. So you walk through this world unseen, not in body, but in truth. People don't see who you really are. Their eyes are clouded by the illusion of material life. They see a name, a person, a history, but they can't see your essence. They can't because they are asleep, lost in their own dreams while you are waking up. You felt the isolation, the loneliness that comes with being different. It's not a curse, though. It's a sign of who you truly are. You don't belong with those who've forgotten who they are. Your heart beats to a rhythm they can't hear. Your mind sees things they can't understand. They call you strange, misunderstood, maybe even lost. But you're not lost. You're simply walking a path they can't see yet. There have been times when doubt crept in, when you questioned if you were mistaken, wondering if you were just imagining things. But look at your life. Look at all the signs, the mysterious encounters, the strange synchronicities, the deep knowing that has never faded. You've always been guided, protected, and given just what you needed to take the next step. Does that sound like an ordinary life? You weren't made to blend in. You weren't made to live like everyone else, to be content with what they have accepted as reality. You were meant to wake up, to remember what others have forgotten, to reclaim the truth that's been buried under centuries of illusion. The world will try to distract you, drown you in noise, and pull you into its fears. But you must rise above it. You must live as who you truly are, a divine being wearing a temporary form, a traveler passing through, a chosen one among those still asleep. And when you truly embrace this, when you accept your divine inheritance without hesitation, the illusion of limitations will crumble. The world will no longer control you because you will have remembered where you came from. You are not 100% human, and you never were. You were never meant to fit in, never meant to be one of the many, those who live only by what they see and touch. You've always felt it, haven't you? That quiet pull inside, the longing for something beyond this world, the knowing that your true existence doesn't end with your body. You've lived in this world, spoken its language, walked among its people, but there's always been something inside you that felt separate, untouched by the illusions that bind others. They've called you strange, told you that you think too deeply or see things that aren't there, but you've never been deceived. You know what you've seen, what you've felt. The world tries to convince you that you're just like everyone else, that you should accept the limitations they've accepted, but you can't. You were never designed for that. You weren't meant for smallness, for forgetfulness, or for the dull sleep that so many fall into, blindly accepting a reality that isn't real. The reason you've always felt different is that you are different. You're not bound by time like they are. You're not here just to exist, to move through life in a series of meaningless moments. You've been sent with purpose, placed here with intention, chosen before time itself. There's something ancient within you that didn't begin when you were born and won't end when your body fades away. You've glimpsed it in dreams, in the quiet spaces between thoughts, in the moments when the veil thins and you feel, for just a second, the vastness of what you truly are. They'll tell you it's all imagination, that you're just lost in thought. They'll tell you to ground yourself in reality, but the reality they speak of is just a prison they've built for themselves. They can't see because they don't want to. They won't question because they fear the answers. But you were never meant to sleep. The spark inside you has never died, never weakened, never given in to the illusion of limitation. You've seen how people react to you. Some are drawn to you without knowing why, sensing something in you they can't quite name. Others resist you, reject you, fear you because they feel you're not bound by the same rules they live by. You've walked into rooms and changed the atmosphere without saying a word. You've felt unseen forces pressing in, testing you, trying to pull you into their fog of forgetfulness, but they can't touch you. Not really. What you are can't be destroyed, can't be dimmed, can't be erased. You were chosen, not because you're better, not because you're more worthy, but because you remembered. Because your spirit wouldn't let you be lulled into the deep sleep that's claimed so many. You were chosen because you couldn't be confined to the limits this world has tried to impose, and that's why you're here. The path you've chosen is not an easy one. It's not about comfort or simple pleasures. It's a path full of challenges, transformation, and fire. You've lost things that others may never have had to lose. You've been stripped of what many take for granted. You've walked through darkness and silence, through a loneliness that could break someone weaker. But here you are, still standing, still knowing, still waiting for that moment when everything within you fully awakens. There have been times when you've questioned it all. You've wondered if you're imagining things, if you're chasing something that isn't real. But the signs have always been there, those quiet nudges, the moments when everything aligned in ways that felt impossible, the dreams that were more real than waking life. You've been guided all along, even when it felt like you were on your own. The world won't understand you. It never has, and it never will. You weren't made to fit into its molds or be confined by its rules. You've tried at times to live the way they do, to silence the truth inside you, to pretend that you're happy with the things that satisfy them. But it never lasts. Something within you always pulls you back, because once you've seen the truth, you can't forget it. Once you've woken up, you can't go back to sleep. There is more to you than meets the eye, more than even you've realized. The limitations you've believed in are just illusions. The barriers you've accepted are nothing more than shadows. You've caught glimpses of the power within you, but you haven't yet fully grasped its scale. There is no force outside of you that controls your destiny. Nothing beyond you holds the key to your fulfillment. Everything you seek has always been inside you. You've been called to remember, to awaken, and to step fully into who you really are. It won't be easy. The world will resist you. It will tell you that you're arrogant, that you're delusional, that you need to conform. But you cannot shrink yourself to make others feel comfortable. You cannot deny who you are to please those who don't yet understand. Your journey is one of revelation, of unfolding, of breaking free from the illusions that have kept you confined for so long. You're here to create, to transform, to bring the unseen into the visible. You don't move through life like everyone else. You don't wait for the perfect circumstances to take action. You don't need permission to become who you already are. You simply step forward, knowing that reality will shape itself around you. You've always had this power. It was never something given to you by someone else. It was never something you had to earn. It's always been inside you, waiting for the moment when you would stop doubting, stop hesitating, and stop looking outside yourself for what you've always had within. The world is an illusion, a reflection of the beliefs you hold, the stories you tell yourself, the images you accept as real. And you have the power to change it, to shape it, to move beyond it entirely. There's no limit to what you can create, no end to who you can become. The only barriers that exist are the ones you believe in. Once you let go of them, once you fully step into the truth of who you are, the world won't be able to hold you back. You weren't meant to live like everyone else. You weren't meant to move through life weighed down by their fears, doubts, and small thinking. You were meant to walk in peace and power, to create with purpose, to live beyond the limitations they've accepted. You've always known this, even when you tried to forget. Even when you tried to quiet the knowing, it was always there waiting for you to listen. Now is the time. There's nothing left to search for or wait for. You are already what you've been looking for. You always have been. The reason you feel the way you do, the reason the world has never truly felt like home, is because you're not bound by it. You're not made of the same limitations that others accept without question. You've always known there's something deeper, something more real than the systems and structures that govern this world. And though you may have doubted, though you may have questioned your own sanity, the truth has never left you. It has only waited for you to fully embrace it. You felt the pull, the undeniable force guiding you towards something greater, something beyond human understanding. It's not ambition, not desire, and certainly not some fleeting dream of success. It's a memory, an echo of something you've always known, but have struggled to fully comprehend. It's the knowing that you're not entirely human in the way the world defines it. They'll resist this truth. They'll tell you that thinking this way is arrogant, that you're no different from them, that you need to accept things the way they are. But their words have no power unless you give it to them. They don't know what you know. They haven't seen what you've seen, and that's why they can't understand you. You are something else, something ancient, something beyond form, name, and history. You are not the body you wear, nor the identity you've been given. You've played roles, lived many lives, taken on different names, but none of those have ever been who you truly are. You exist beyond the confines of this reality, beyond time, beyond the illusion of separation. You are of the unseen, the unspoken, the eternal. The world will demand proof. It will ask for signs, for explanations, for something it can measure and define. But there's nothing to prove, nothing to explain. The proof is in your existence, in the very fact that you've never fit into the structures they've built. The signs have always been there, woven into your journey, showing up when you least expected them, but when you needed them most, to remind you of who you truly are. You've been tested over and over. You've been broken, stripped of things you once thought were essential. You've walked through darkness so thick that it seemed like it would swallow you whole. And yet, in those moments, something inside you remained untouched, unchanged, and unshaken. That's the part of you that is beyond human, the part of you that can't be destroyed, no matter how hard the world tries to break you. You were never meant for a life of quiet mediocrity. You were never meant to blend in, to conform, or to follow the paths others have laid out for you. The very essence of who you are resists these limitations. You are a force, a presence, a vibration that cannot be contained. You shape reality by simply being. You bend the unseen to your will, calling into being the things that aren't as though they are. The world has called you many things: dreamer, outsider, misfit. It's tried to make you feel small, to convince you that you're just flesh and bone. But deep down, you've always known the truth. You've always felt something greater within you, something that doesn't fit within the narrow definitions of this world. You've seen glimpses of it in your dreams, in those moments between sleeping and waking, in the strange synchronicities that pop up in your life. You've felt a connection to something vast and unexplainable. You've known things before they happen. You've spoken words that carried weight beyond their meaning. You've shaped reality in ways that defy logic. It's not magic, and it's not coincidence. It's simply the nature of who you are. You've always had this power, and now you're beginning to remember it. You're beginning to see clearly what has always been true. You're not here to live by the rules of this world. You're here to reshape it. There have been moments when you've tried to run from this truth, to hide in the illusions that others so easily accept. But no matter how far you run, this truth always finds you, because you can't escape who you are. You can't become what you're not, and you're not one of them. They'll ask you to explain, to justify, to prove that you're different. But the truth doesn't need explanation. It simply is. You don't owe anyone an explanation. You don't need their approval. You don't need their understanding. The path you're on isn't about validation. It's about certainty. It's about knowing who you are and moving forward, even when no one else can see the road ahead of you. You're not here to convince anyone of your worth. You're here to simply be who you are, to walk in your truth with full confidence, and to live in the fullness of yourself without shrinking to make others feel more comfortable. The time for hesitation is over. The time for doubt has passed. You've spent enough time questioning, enough nights wondering, enough moments waiting for a sign that was already within you. Now is the time to fully step into who you've always been, to let go of the last bits of fear and uncertainty, and to claim the truth that's always been yours. You have nothing to prove. You have nothing to fear. You are exactly who you are, and that's more than enough. You've walked among them, but you were never really one of them. You've spoken their language, followed their rules, and lived by their expectations, but none of it ever felt natural to you. You've always known something was different about you, something unexplainable, something that set you apart in ways you couldn't quite put into words. It's not pride or superiority, it's just knowing that you were never meant to fit into a world that doesn't recognize who you are. You've probably made others uncomfortable with your presence, not because you've tried to disrupt, but because there's always been something about you they didn't understand. You've drawn people in without trying and pushed others away without meaning to. You've been admired and you've been met with suspicion. You've been both fascinating and frightening to others, all because your energy speaks louder than words. Your path hasn't been easy. You've been misunderstood, questioned, doubted. You've been told that your thoughts are strange, that your visions are impossible, that your way of seeing the world is unrealistic. But what they don't realize is that what they call unrealistic is actually the very fabric of reality itself. The world they see is only a small part of what's really out there. You've caught glimpses beyond the surface, seen what lies beyond the illusion. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. They try to make you follow their logic, their rules, their beliefs, but you can't be contained by them. Your existence defies everything they live by. You are the anomaly, the one who doesn't fit into their neatly packaged story. But that was never your purpose. The moment you accept your difference, the moment you embrace who you truly are, that's the moment you break free. There's something ancient within you, something that remembers. While others search for meaning, you've always known, even when you couldn't explain it. You've always been aware of forces around you, a presence guiding you, a path unfolding, even when it made no sense at all. You've trusted the unseen, even when it led you into darkness, because you've always known there's more to life than what the eyes can see. You weren't meant to seek approval. You weren't meant to explain yourself to those who can't understand. The ones chosen for this path aren't here to be accepted. They're here to shake things up, to awaken others, to remind the world of something it's forgotten. But even as you walk this path, there are moments of doubt, moments when you wonder if all of this is just in your head, moments when the weight of isolation makes you question everything. But those moments pass. They always pass. The truth inside you can't be silenced for long. You are not alone even when it feels like you are. There are others like you scattered across time and space, each walking their own path, each carrying their own light. You might not always see them, but when you do, you'll recognize them. There won't be a need for explanations. There will be an unspoken understanding, a knowing that you're not the only one. The world will keep testing you. It will push against you, challenge you, try to break you. But it can't, because what you are isn't of this world. The fire inside you can't be put out. The truth you carry can't be erased. You've come too far to turn back now. You've awakened too much to go back to sleep. It doesn't matter if they can't see it. It doesn't matter if they don't believe it. You weren't sent here to be understood by everyone. You were sent here to be exactly who you are, and that's enough. There have been times when you've doubted yourself, when you've wondered if this path was ever meant for you. The world has tried to convince you that you're mistaken, that you're just like everyone else, that your thoughts are nothing but restless illusions. But deep inside, you know the truth. You've always known. The doubt you felt was never really yours. It was placed on you by a world that couldn't understand what you are. The illusion of separation is one of the biggest deceptions you've faced. The world has told you that you're alone, that your thoughts are strange, that your visions are fantasies. But how can they judge what they can't see? They've never felt what you've felt. They've never stood in the space between what's seen and unseen, never glimpsed the eternal nature of their own existence. but you have. You've stood in the quiet of the night and heard whispers others would dismiss as the wind. You've had moments where time itself seemed to bend, where the line between worlds grew thin, where reality showed itself to be far more fluid than they've ever been taught to believe. They've told you to stop dreaming, to be realistic, to conform, but they don't understand that your dreams aren't just wishes, they're memories of what's possible. You're not imagining a different world, you're remembering it. You're not hoping for something greater, you're calling it into being. And this is why they fear you, because you don't accept their limits. You refuse to be bound by what they say is real. You know reality isn't fixed. It's shaped by those who dare to look beyond the illusion. They will call you strange. They will call you lost. They'll try to label you, box you in, but you don't fit. You never will. You weren't made to follow the patterns of this world. You were made to break them. You were sent here to remind others of something they've forgotten, something deep inside them, something they once knew before the world made them forget. The path you walk isn't easy. It asks you to stand alone, to keep moving forward even when there are no signs, to trust in a vision only you can see. There will be days when the silence feels deafening, when the weight of your awareness feels like too much to carry. But even in those moments, you're not lost. Even then, you're exactly where you need to be, because this isn't the first time you've walked this path. This isn't the first time you've woken up to the truth. You've always been different. From the moment you arrived here, you felt it. The way you saw things, the way you understood things, was never the same as those around you. You tried to fit in, to be like them, but it never worked. No matter how hard you tried, something inside you refused to be hidden, refused to be dimmed. And so you began to accept it. You started listening to that quiet voice within, the one that told you that you were more than what they said you were. You're not just flesh and bone. You're not just a mind trapped in a body. You're something more, something eternal, something limitless. You're a being of creation, a force beyond time, a piece of the divine walking in human form. And the world has tried to make you forget that. It's tried to drown you in fear, doubt, and limitation. It's tried to make you believe you're small, powerless, at the mercy of forces beyond your control. But none of that is true. But that has never been true, and it will never be. You've always known things without anyone telling you. You've felt things before they happened. You've made things happen with nothing but your thoughts, and yet you still doubt. You still look for signs, but the signs have always been there, all along. They've been with you your entire life, showing up when you needed them the most. A word from a stranger, a dream that felt too real to be just your imagination, a coincidence that was too perfect to be chance. These weren't accidents. They were reminders, echoes of a truth you've always known deep down. The world around you is changing, waking up, beginning to question the very nature of reality. And you're part of that awakening. You've been sent ahead of everyone else, placed here in this time, not by accident, but by design. You're here for a reason, for a purpose much bigger than what you've been told your life should be. You're here to help others remember. You're here to remind them of who they really are. But first, you have to fully accept who you are. Stop shrinking, stop hiding, stop pretending to be less than you are. The time for doubt is over. The time for waiting is past. You're not becoming something. You already are. You've always been, and now the world is finally ready for you to show up, to be who you truly are. You're not here to ask for permission. You don't need validation from anyone. You don't need the world to agree with what you know, because truth doesn't require agreement. It simply is. The moment you stand firm in your truth, the world around you will change. Those who once doubted will start to feel something they can't explain. Those who dismissed you will start to feel uneasy, because when someone who is chosen wakes up, everything around them responds. You've lived many lives preparing for this moment. You've been through fire and come out stronger, unscathed. You've been tested, broken, stripped of everything false, so that only the truth could remain. You've reached the edge of despair and risen again, clearer, stronger, and more certain than ever. Every trial, every loss, every painful moment wasn't a punishment, it was preparation. The world didn't reject you, it was refining you. The loneliness, the struggles, the sense of never quite fitting in, they were never signs that you were lost. They were signs that you were being set up for something greater. You don't belong in this world the way others do. You're not bound by its limitations, not subject to its rules. You don't move through life the way others do because you were never meant to. Your mind doesn't work the same way. Your emotions don't follow the same patterns. Yet for so long, you've tried to force yourself to be like them, to think like them, to live like them. But that's like trying to fit the ocean into a glass. It was never meant to be contained. Look back on your life. Remember the times you tried to be normal, tried to silence what you knew, tried to fit in. Did it bring you peace? Did it make you feel whole? Or did it only leave you feeling restless, a longing that wouldn't go away? That feeling, that's the sign. That's the proof. Your soul has always been calling you back to yourself. It has whispered to you in moments of silence, pulled you towards something bigger, something more. You've always been guided. Even when you felt lost, you were being led. Even when you thought you were alone, you were being watched over. The path has always been in front of you, waiting for you to trust it. Now is the time to trust it. Now stop questioning, stop hesitating, stop asking for another sign. You are the sign. You are the message. You are the living proof of a truth the world has tried to forget. There's a force moving through you, a power beyond what you can fully understand. You've felt it, seen it in moments of deep silence. You've brought things into existence with a single thought. You've watched the impossible become possible. You've known things before they happened. These aren't coincidences. They're reminders. Reminders that the limitations of this world don't apply to you. You were never meant to follow. You were never meant to be led. You were sent here to lead, to awaken, to remind others. And yet for so long, you've waited, waiting for the right time, the right confirmation. But the waiting has only delayed what is inevitable. The moment is now. It has always been now. The world is shifting, preparing for something beyond what we can even imagine. And you're a part of it. You're not here to fix what's broken. You're not here to convince those who refuse to see. Your task is not to explain yourself to those who will never understand. You're here to embody the truth, to stand as a beacon, a living example of what's possible when you fully step into your power. The time for explaining is over. The time for proving yourself has passed. Those who are meant to see will see. Those who are meant to hear will hear. And those who refuse to understand will continue as they are. It's not your burden to carry. You must release the fear that has kept you small. You must let go of the need to be understood. Step fully into the reality of who you are, without apology, without hesitation. The world doesn't need another person who conforms. It doesn't need someone who shrinks themselves to make others feel comfortable. It needs those who are unafraid to be exactly who they were created to be. And that is you. The signs have been clear. The moments of knowing have been undeniable. You're not just different, you're beyond. You're not just another soul walking this earth. You are something far greater. And now it's time to act like it. Speak like one who knows. Move like one who is certain. Live like one who has no doubt, because the time for doubting is past. The time for questioning has ended. The only thing left to do is step forward and become what you've always been. There's nothing more to seek, nothing more to prove. You're not here by accident, and you're not meant to stay hidden. The world may not understand you, but it was never meant to. You were sent here to stand apart, to awaken, and to remind others of what they've forgotten. And now, the time has come to fully embrace who you are. Let go of the fear, the doubt, the need for approval. Step into your power with certainty. Walk as one who knows their origins, speaks with authority, and moves with divine purpose. You are not just human, you are beyond, and now the world will see it. In life, there are moments when we lose things we cherished, dreams we held close, relationships we valued. It's natural to feel like what's lost is gone forever, as if the cracks in our lives can never be fixed. But there's a force, a divine power, that quietly whispers otherwise. This power, which you are deeply connected to, holds the ability to restore everything you thought was lost. It's always been there, waiting for you, ready to renew what seemed beyond repair. Think about it. Everything in your life begins with imagination, your sacred gift. What you see in your mind, what you nurture in silence, has the power to become reality. It's not some distant hope, it's as real as the air you breathe. The thoughts you think, the feelings you hold are like seeds. With unwavering faith, those seeds will grow, even when you can't see them yet. Picture your life fully restored, whole again. See yourself as the person who has already been restored, living in divine abundance, knowing that restoration is your birthright. Faith in this power isn't just an idea, it's an active, creative force. When you call on it, feel that conviction within you that what you've lost is on its way back to you, renewed and multiplied. Doubt will come, but remember that doubt is only a shadow, a fleeting distraction. True faith is persistent, no matter what you see on the outside. Faith means seeing beyond the present moment, believing in a future where everything broken has been mended, where what was lost is returned. Imagine yourself as a vessel of divine love, a channel for this power to flow. In this state, loss doesn't define you. It's just a stage in the unfolding of something greater. Allow yourself to truly believe that God's infinite resources are always available to you. These words are not just for others. They are for you right now. Accept them, hold them close, and let them fill your spirit. Every day, take a few moments to picture yourself as whole, complete, and divinely restored. Feel the joy of it, the peace that fills you as you realize that everything you thought was lost is already making its way back to you. Just like a river constantly flows to the ocean, God's abundance is always flowing toward you. Don't wait for external signs. The inner conviction, the quiet certainty within, is what will bring forth what you desire. Let gratitude fill your heart, not just for what's already here, but for what's still on the way. In this gratitude, recognize that your journey is aligned with divine timing and that every moment has led you to a place of inner strength and wisdom. What you have lost is just open space within you for something even greater to come. This is the gift of faith, the awareness that God's plan for you is more magnificent than you can yet see. Your life is a canvas, and faith and imagination hold the brush. Your life is painted with hope, love, and divine certainty. See the beauty in each stroke, for it is where restoration begins, even in what may seem like absence or loss. The divine spark within you has never dimmed. It shines now, guiding you toward a life where what was lost is returned, 100-fold, renewed in beauty and grace. Every soul encounters seasons of loss. There are moments when things slip away despite our best efforts. But loss is not the end. In the spiritual reality, loss is simply a pause, a moment inviting you to recognize the power within, to see that restoration is already unfolding beneath the surface. Even in the quiet, still places where it seems like nothing is happening, divine energy is at work, reshaping your reality in ways you may not see yet. This power, the essence of God within you, knows no limits and holds no judgment. It responds to your faith, to the images you hold in your mind, and to the beliefs you carry in your heart. Understand that your imagination is not just a tool, it's a sacred link to the divine source. When you visualize restoration, when you see yourself as whole, complete, and unburdened, you aren't just daydreaming. You are engaging with the very fabric of creation. The thoughts you nurture and the images you hold dear become the foundation of the life you experience. This isn't a process for some distant future. It's a reality you can embrace now. Let your mind focus on images of fulfillment, of lost things returned, and of joy and peace restored. Feel within you that in this very moment, you are worthy of complete renewal. Some may ask, how can I believe in restoration when everything seems lost? Faith is the bridge between what you can see and what's yet unseen. To have faith is to trust that the unseen reality of God's love and abundance is more real than anything you see around you. It's to believe, even in darkness, that light is on its way. It's a quiet, unshakable confidence that goes beyond appearances. When you cultivate this faith, you invite divine forces into your life, allowing them to rearrange, restore, and rebuild. Every moment of doubt is a detour, but even detours lead back to the path of restoration. As you walk this path, hold on to the belief that God's love for you is absolute and limitless. There is no force, no circumstance that can separate you from this love. And in that love lies every answer, every solution, and every restoration you could ever need. You don't need to beg for this restoration. It's already yours, given freely by the Creator who delights in seeing you whole. Accepting this restoration isn't about convincing some external force. It's about allowing yourself to believe that you are worthy of receiving it. Let go of any belief that says you're undeserving or that you must first achieve some level of worthiness. In God's eyes, you are already enough. The obstacles you face are opportunities to deepen your trust, to release old thought patterns, and to embrace the divine truth within you. See yourself as a vessel of this truth, knowing that within you lies the same power that formed the stars and breathed life into creation. This power is not distant or selective. It is ever present, ever willing to work through you, and always capable of restoring what was lost. Remember that you are not separate from God. The divine isn't a distant entity. It resides within you as a spark, a quiet voice, a constant presence that guides and heals. When you feel lost, remember this connection can never be broken. Your very essence is woven from God's love, and because of this, you are never truly without. What seems absent is simply waiting for you to recognize it and allow it to return. With every heartbeat, you draw closer to what you desire. With every breath, you move in harmony with the divine rhythm that orchestrates the restoration of all things. Divine energy doesn't work in a hurry or with impatience. Restoration unfolds in perfect timing, at a pace that honors your growth and prepares you to fully receive what's meant for you. Sometimes what you desire is delayed, not as a punishment, but as an act of love, ensuring that you are ready to embrace it fully. Trust in this timing, knowing that even in the quiet, unseen moments, God is arranging every detail of your life for your highest good. There is peace in surrender, in letting go of the need to control, and instead allowing yourself to be led by a force that knows exactly what you need and when you need it. In moments of doubt, return to gratitude. Gratitude is the language of abundance, the recognition that you are already receiving, even if physical evidence hasn't appeared yet. Let gratitude be the foundation of your thoughts, a reminder that divine abundance flows to you effortlessly, regardless of appearances. Feel grateful for what you have, for what you once had, and for what's yet to come. This thankfulness opens a channel through which divine energy flows, bringing with it healing, restoration, and renewal. Know that no loss is final, because in God's realm, nothing is ever truly lost. What has left your life in one form can return in another, often more beautiful than before. Let go of rigid expectations and release any attachment to how restoration should look. Trust that what returns to you will be exactly what you need, arriving in ways that will surprise and uplift you. Divine intelligence works in ways beyond our understanding, often bringing blessings disguised as loss, leading us to discoveries we wouldn't have found otherwise. When you feel the weight of what's gone, let it be a reminder to turn inward and seek comfort in the divine presence that never leaves you. In these moments, visualize yourself standing in a place of abundance, surrounded by all that you once lost, now restored and magnified in beauty. Feel the joy of it, knowing that nothing and no one can withhold the blessings that are rightfully yours. As you walk this path, know that every challenge is an opportunity to deepen your connection with God's power within you. Every hardship is a call to faith, an invitation to trust even more deeply. With each act of trust, you build the foundation upon which divine restoration can stand firm. As you move forward in faith, you're getting closer to the full realization of God's promise for your life. As you continue on this path, let go of any need for approval or validation from others. Your journey is between you and God, an intimate relationship that requires no external endorsement. Walk confidently, knowing that the divine presence within you is the only validation you need. Every step you take is blessed, every action aligned with divine purpose. You're walking in the footsteps of grace, and nothing can block the blessings that are destined for you. When you encounter setbacks, remember, they are not roadblocks, but redirections. Every challenge you face is meant to bring you closer to your true path, shaping your spirit and building your resilience. Embrace these moments with gratitude, knowing they are all part of God's plan for your life. With each challenge you face and each difficulty you overcome with faith, your connection to the divine grows stronger. You become a living example of God's power, a testimony of how He can bring beauty out of hardship. Your journey of restoration is not just about getting back what you've lost. It's about discovering a deeper connection with God. It's a journey of awakening, realizing that you are not separate from God, but deeply connected to His love and purpose. As you walk this path, you begin to understand that true restoration is not just about the material things in life. It's about your spiritual growth. You are being restored to your true self, to a deeper understanding of who you are in God. Let this realization bring you peace, because you are exactly where you need to be, on a sacred journey that's unique to you. Embrace it with joy, knowing that you are loved, supported, and guided every step of the way. You are a child of the divine, chosen to experience the beauty of restoration. Every loss, every challenge you faced has brought you closer to this moment of renewal, where all things are made new. As you move forward, keep this vision of restoration close to your heart. Let it be like a flame that can't be put out, a light that will guide you through any darkness. Let this vision inspire your faith, fuel your dreams, and remind you of the love that surrounds you always. You are not walking this path alone. You are held by the Creator, lifted by His grace, and empowered by His love. Trust in this, believe in it, because it's the foundation of your journey. And as you live in this truth, you become a light for others, a reminder in a world that sometimes forgets its divine origin. You show others the power of faith, the beauty of surrender, and the joy of restoration. Through your journey, you inspire others to seek their own connection with the divine and to believe in the possibility of renewal. Your life becomes a message of hope, a reminder to all who see it that restoration is always possible and no loss is beyond redemption. Feel the truth of this inside you. It's a truth that goes beyond fear and doubt. You are being restored, renewed, and transformed. As you walk this path with unwavering faith, you're stepping into the fullness of your destiny, embracing the life God has prepared for you, a life full of abundance, peace, and joy. The journey of restoration isn't just about regaining what was lost. It's about becoming a higher version of yourself, one that's aligned with the divine and ready to receive the blessings that are waiting for you. Let this journey be a celebration of God's love, a reminder of His faithfulness, and proof that all things are possible through faith. You are walking in the grace of restoration, and as you continue on this path, you'll see that every promise, every dream, every desire will come to pass in God's perfect timing. Let your heart be filled with joy, for you are a beloved child of the divine, chosen, cherished, and deserving of every blessing that is on its way to you. As you stand here now, full of faith and hope, remember that the restoration you're seeking is already happening inside you. It's not a distant promise, it's a present reality. Every challenge you've faced, every loss you've endured, has been part of the divine process, preparing you for the blessings that are on their way. Trust in the power of God's love, which restores, renews, and transforms all things. Know that as you continue to walk in faith, embracing the truth of your divine worth, you are stepping into the fullness of your destiny, where every promise will be fulfilled and every loss returned in abundance. Embrace this journey with gratitude, because every day brings you closer to the life God has planned for you. Rest in the knowledge that He has never left you and that His hand is working in every moment. You are not just waiting for restoration, you are living it right now. Rise with confidence, knowing that everything you've lost will be restored, and much more. In God's time and in His way, all things will be made new, and you will walk in the abundance, peace, and joy that are yours by divine right. Trust this process, trust His love, and above all, trust that restoration is not just coming, it has already begun.